almost 20 square miles of it is his district, and it's all oil. So, well, we got to move ahead quickly. So I call that direct hit. Rob Morrow, who's Hank Reardon. What's interesting, he also has a kid brother. Remember the kid brother for Reardon?
Philip.
Yeah, Philip. Well, same birthday here for Oppenheimer, and Oppenheimer has a kid brother in the Manhattan Project. Giving him grief too because he's a communist and it leads to problems for him. So again, it's kind of like, in 1934, Ayn Rand boasted that she was the first writer ever to perfect the art of building a story in 3 tiers. May 18, 1934, and she's 29 years old. And a plot of a story is simple and understandable enough to be interesting alone by itself, even the lowest type of mentality. The same is true if a plot carries a deeper meaning. It can be reached only by the highest, but she goes on in her letter. Oh, I must have jumped over that. But she's saying, I'm able to write in all my stories a 3rd level, almost to me a Da Vinci level, where if something special occurs, it might trigger an understanding of what's going on there. If the elites could not control Oppie, they would expose him as a clown in the eyes of the American people. They took Jerry Voorhis, who was a supporter and would have been the president probably in 10 or 12 years if he had continued, who was Kid Atlas. He had legislation against communism. Nixon painted him as a communist. And after he won by a small margin, he said, I knew he wasn't a communist. He was a pig, but I had to win. They were now attacking Oppie. Same thing. You're a communist. You may have given plans to Russia. Whatever they could do to get him out. So I had contended at one point in time, just before Roosevelt's death, he sent a telegram, a note, something to Oppenheimer saying essentially, whether he was at Warm Springs, Missouri, which they also called the White House, the Oppenheimer stop, Joint Operational Homeland Nuclear stop, Geothermal Atmospheric Liquefied Thorium stop, initiate strategy. And so this is created by me based on the evidence I've seen. And I've seen Robert with his typewriter that has the R off a little bit. So I pulled that in, happy to accept, Robert Oppenheimer. So this is, be it this form or some other form, this is the communique, because there's some things going on that we won't get into here because it'll be later, but the British are involved in this, but the British are so it was a moment of deep despair. Oppie, he realizes he's being cornered. The military have been investigating for years. The FBI is now starting to bug his office, his home soon in the next few weeks. There'll be thousands of pages of illegal reports that we've learned in books hence of all the illegal things they were doing against Oppenheimer to try and get him discredited. He realized he's cornered, and what is he going to do? And about this time, he's in the second interview, I contend, with Ayn Rand, who he knows is brilliant. He knows that she's bragged about being able to do a Da Vinci Code-like stuff. So I contend he spilled the beans, the atomic beans, concerning his terrible premonition of the future to this brilliant writer. He likely had showed her his last communique and explained that I'm doing this based on what the prior president wanted. Truman was brought in to replace another vice president thanks to the British, who didn't want it. That's another long story. Bottom line is he thought maybe there's an opportunity here. So the fact that AR successfully hid a second copy of her screenplay, top secret from everyone for half a century, suggests Oppie likely warned her that he didn't think the Truman administration was ever going to get it out because they're cutting down information. They don't want information released. That is exactly what happened. March 19, 1946, parts of the manuscript would eventually be found in the Truman archives. There were like 16 pages. She's doing this for a guy named Barris who did Casablanca and the Maltese Falcon. And they came in and gave him the equivalent of $250,000. We want that. And don't do anything else on it. So she's ticked at her producer for doing that, so she'll leave him eventually. But anyway, that's another story. The impact, let's see, two brilliant minds, century understanding, neither would, this is the other thing. They never see each other again. They never speak of this. Because if she writes it and gets it in, but it's discovered, what will be the ramifications? So Ayn Rand did slip up one time. She mentioned interviewing Oppenheimer for her screenplay Top Secret in 1961. That's been noted. But it wouldn't be till 18 years after her death in 1998 that one of the Atlas Shrugged Society people is in her garage because she's willed her journals and letters and everything over. He finds a box. He opens it up. And lo and behold, she worked on the Manhattan Project. It was her screenplay. She had made the second copy. So, oh, and with Ayn Rand, her Atlas Shrugged, when I say she does 3-layer books, would you be interested to find out her first 2? It's a double hit here, there and down here on each. And so now, Ayn Rand gets to choose whoever she wants to be. To me, she's Alicia Rosenbaum or whatnot. But enemies, we gotta move on a little quicker here. I want to get to the next. Oh, great German is playing James Taggart. Remember? I don't want to hear about it.